Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is March 3rd, 2025. What happened to February? What happened to February? I mean, it just came and went. And it's gone. Well, I'm pretty sure most of you are aware of what happened last week when Zelenskyy showed up to the Oval Office to talk to President Trump. And, one of the big things that came out of all of this that people not even aware of, that Zelenskyy didn't have to show up. President Trump's administration sent him the paperwork for him to sign it and send it back. Zelenskyy didn't have to show up, but Zelenskyy said, no, I want to come there and do it. I want to come there and sign the papers, And part of the reason why President Trump agreed to do the minerals deal is to show that there's no daylight between Ukraine and the United States of America. But Zelenskyy, when he came over here, he met with the shadow government, the deep state, before he went into the Oval Office with President Trump. Because when he was sitting in the Oval Office with President Trump, I was wondering to myself, why is this dude like this? He should be basically on his hands and knees saying, please, Mr. President Trump, thank you. Thank you for helping us, Mr. President Trump. Thank you for not kicking us to the curb. Thank you for allowing this relationship to kind of, somewhat continue. But he didn't do that. He went and talked to the shadow government and the deep state, and they told him that they were going to give him the resources regardless of what President Trump says or does. This is the whole agenda. This gave Zelenskyy the balls to go in there and say what he said and to do what he did. But it all backfired on him. President Trump and J.D. Vance, they knew about it. They knew about the meeting. They had to have known because they didn't allow Zelenskyy to get away with it. And even if they didn't know about the meeting that he had with them beforehand, they still wouldn't have let him get away with it. So, again, this is Monday, and if this is your first time watching, please follow the page. No matter how you're watching this, we are live on multiple locations and even Ex-America News. So please, if you would, like, follow, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And no matter how you're watching this, please share this video. Please push it out. Hit the thumbs up no matter how you're watching this. Okay, I want to play something from just a short clip because I know everybody has seen this. If you can split screen it for me, please, sir. Everyone has seen this clip already. I just want to play something out of here that really stood out to me, and President Trump caught on to it as well. And I'm talking about when J.D. Vance brought up the fact to him saying that, we need to do this in a diplomatic way. And then Zelenskyy said that, oh, you're safe. You have all this, you have the pond between us. I'm paraphrasing. I'm going to play it for you. But he's like, you're going to have it. You're going to feel it here soon, very soon. What is that? Is that a threat? Or is he saying something that we don't know about? Is he saying that something's going to start happening here in the United States of America? Are you kidding me? Let me just play it. Listen to this, because this just recap if you haven't seen this, I can't imagine that you haven't, but listen to this.
Into your military, and do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
You'll feel it in the future? You'll feel it in the future? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? And President Trump, President Trump was like listening, letting the dialogue go and have back and forth. And we actually have a strong VP. I can't even remember the last time we had a strong VP like this. I don't think we've ever, in my lifetime, that we've had a strong VP like this. I can't ever recall one. I'm so glad that J.D. Vance was there, and I'm so glad that J.D. Vance was speaking up. And he's on President Trump's side, not like Mike Judas Pence that was backstabbing President Trump every step of the way. I love the fact that he stood up. Now, let me just play the rest of this because this is so good. I mean, this video, I can watch this over and over and over again. And of course, all of those on the left, they're absolutely butthurt that this took place. And President Trump stood up for this country, because he puts America first. All of the Democrats, they put America last.
God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this.
I'm not dictating.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very
You
strong.
will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. But right now, you don't. Yeah, you're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. It's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this
even
entire
today.
Meeting, you said thank
even
you.
Today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
And what's really interesting, that none of the liberal media will bring up the fact what J.D. Vance was just saying. If you had any other world leader from anywhere else in the world, no matter where they're from in the world, if they came over to the United States of America and they were going to factories or going to different places before the election and was campaigning for President Trump, they would lose their minds. They would absolutely lose their minds. But this dude came over here campaigning for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden because he wants the endless money to continue to happen. And they said nothing about it. None of them had an issue about it. Now, I truly believe, and this is just my personal opinion, and I'm seeing more and more information that makes my opinion more factual than just being an opinion. I want y'all to listen to Zelenskyy here. And this is not a new clip. This is absolutely not a new clip. When I first heard this, and I was like, are you kidding me? This goes right along with what he just said, that you're going to start feeling it here in America. What is he saying? What is he saying? Here, because he's always constantly trying to get to become part of NATO, United States President Trump is not going to allow that to happen. And the main reason why Russia did what they did by going into Ukraine, because remember, Kamala Harris, the Biden administration, went over to Ukraine and was saying that, yep, we're going to bring you into NATO. The following week or thereafter, that's when Putin went in. Because he said, if you try to become part of NATO, because we're not going to have NATO nations butted up to Russia, if you try to become part of NATO, you give us no choice. He still did it. They pushed it. Kamala Harris went over there. But the liberal media, they always leave that part out. Even people that's not even support of Ukraine. They keep saying Russia started the war. Russia started the war. Well, you think they just woke up one day and said, well, there's Ukraine. It's right next to it. Let's go. He kept telling them. And they kept pushing it and kept pushing to try to become part of NATO. And he says, okay, I got this in the bud. That's what started it. Now, the physical part, of course, Russia started the physical part. But they started it by trying to become part of NATO. Now, listen to what he says here. And for everyone right now that's marching around in the streets of America, constantly saying that they stand with Ukraine, why are you still here?
The U.S. will have to send their sons and daughters exactly the same way as we are sending their sons and daughters to war. And they will have to fight because it's NATO that we're talking about, and they will be dying.
See? Oh, it's NATO we're talking about. So his whole agenda is to get NATO to be part of this conflict. I truly believe that this dude is trying to take us into World War III. I really do. I truly believe that. Because he had a sweetheart deal. He had the greatest deal that he could ever get. It was right there. All he had to do was sign it. All he had to do was sign it. And he didn't even have to show up to the Oval Office to do it. He could have just signed it and sent it back, and President Trump said, okay, let's go. Let's get it on. Let's get the ball rolling. But he didn't do that. And apparently, the meeting that he had before he went into the Oval Office with President Trump, he was there saying that he's not going to negotiate, basically. He was basically saying that President Trump's going to have to give him the security that he's asking for. And what he's asking for is the security of being part of NATO, the security of U.S. military soldiers, boots on the ground, fighting against Russia. We don't want that. I don't support Putin. I don't support Russia. And I most definitely don't support Ukraine. And I do not want any of us, I don't even care if you're liberal and you're in the military. I don't want you on the ground in Ukraine fighting this war. I really don't. We don't need to be in this conflict. We got our own problems. This is not a conflict that really has anything to do with us. Ukraine is not an ally to the United States of America. Show it to me. Show it to me in the UN Charter. Show it to me. I encourage everybody. Show it to me. Now, President Trump, he was going to create that with the resources, the mineral resources, but they didn't want to sign it. And come to find out, what was it, 3 days before President Trump, the inauguration?
Yeah, it was on February 17th.
Yeah, 3 days. He did an exclusive deal with Europe with these resources.
UK, yeah, the UK.
Yeah, UK.
Yep.
Exclusive deal, meaning that, hey, if the UK doesn't say it, then it won't happen.
Yeah, they did exclusive on the minerals deal.
I mean, come on.
Right. And
this dude is a snake.
He's
trying to just get money.
He truly is. He truly is.
Yeah, he's trying to get money. So let me play this for you, because this was reported to be before President Trump had him in the Oval Office with him. Listen.
No. In this deal, you will not have very concrete steps of security guarantees, because we need to speak about it. Not only with the United States, Europeans, etc. United States will not be enough. Even when we speak about the NATO, what we want. And I know that is so difficult and nobody really believe in it, but I will reserve this topic because I want to find NATO way or something similar. I understand what does it mean, something for us. And I know all the points, what NATO is. And we are ready, to be.
You see this? He's still pushing the idea of becoming part of NATO. He's still pushing it. That's the whole thing here. And this is the Democrats. They know what he's doing here. And Putin has made it clear time and time again that we will not have any NATO nations butted up to Russia. And part of the reason why NATO was created, to my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, because I do look at the chat, but to my understanding, part of the reason why NATO was created because of the aggression of Russia. The whole point. So why in the world would Russia, Putin, or anyone in Russia want NATO butted up to their country? Not going to happen.
Right.
Zelenskyy is constantly trying to push this envelope. He's trying to push it constantly.
And, one reason why they're doing this minerals deal, and even the United States was willing to do a minerals deal, is because once we have interests in Ukraine, then we could say, okay, now we have a political interest in Ukraine. It's good for them. It's good for us. Same thing with Taiwan. Taiwan is not a NATO nation, but we have diplomatic interest in Taiwan. So if China is to have aggression towards Taiwan, we have political interest. So that's why Zelenskyy is willing to do the minerals deal. But how is he doing it with all these nations? And it sounded like he did it exclusively with the UK. So I don't know what that means. Does that mean that he couldn't do one with the United States? And if he couldn't do one with the United States and Trump knew that, then why did Trump bring him over here? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, what exactly is it? There's still, I don't trust Zelenskyy.
So right before we came on live, everyone, I just saw where President Trump put a post out on Truth Social. Can we put that up on the screen, Shannon? And he actually said, and he's saying this, and look, I truly believe this. And I put the title in there. I was looking at this information last night, and I just saw this before we came on here. Zelensky wants the world to go in World War III. I mean, he's almost like begging for it because everything that he's doing is trying to really push for that. And President Trump, when he was in the Oval Office with President Trump, you say you're pushing for World War III. You're trying to push for World War III. You're pushing for it. So, yeah, listen to this. Make it full screen so people can see it. This is a statement that President Trump put on Truth Social. This is the worst statement that could have been made by Zelensky. And America will not put up with it much longer. It is what I was saying. This guy doesn't want there to be peace as long as the United States is backing them along with Europe. In the meeting they had with Zelensky, they stated flatly that they could not do the job without the U.S. Now, Zelensky, which I have this right here. Let me put this up on the screen. Put this one up on the screen. Now, Zelensky, of course, after he was with President Trump, he runs over to Europe and he's meeting with all of these people, and even Canada. Trudeau was there as well. He's meeting with all these people, and they basically even told him, even though they're still we're going to support Zelensky, we're going to support Ukraine. They're all saying it, just like the tyrants that they are, but they're still at the same time saying, look, we're going to support you all we can, but we can't do this without President Trump. Without the United States. We can't do it without the United States. And now the United States, the Democrats, the Democrats, the United States of America, they're wanting the bureaucrats to run the show and not President Trump.
And the British, they did come up with another peace deal, which to me is like, okay, but like you said, to your point, Will, they said that Trump has to be, the United States has to be backing this. And why? Because the biggest threat to Russia isn't Europe. He's more afraid of the United States, right?
Oh, of course.
So once the United States is involved, he's going to take it more seriously. If the only reason why there was no peace deal before is because Biden was weak, and the UK can't do it without the United States. So the UK couldn't do it, European Union couldn't do it because Biden was weak. But now we have a Trump, so they can now propose things, and if Trump backs it, it'll work.
You said we have a Trump.
Now that we have a Trump. Yeah. The only way this works
Yeah.
is with the strong hand of the Trump administration, and everybody knows it.
Yeah. So let me play another clip that Zelensky, where they actually were talking about this on Fox News, and Peter Doocy was bringing up the fact that Zelensky was talking to, he doesn't say the shadow government or the deep state, but that's who he was talking to before he went into the Oval Office with President Trump.
They're meeting with Zelensky right before the Oval Office. These Democrats that he met with were telling him to not accept the deal. Don't go to the Oval Office and sign anything with Trump. And so they kind of, I believe that the way Goodwin describes it, they let him off a cliff. And they did.
Yeah, they did.
But after they had all agreed in principle to the deal. And let's not forget, this is the collusion. We spent how many years talking about freaking collusion? And it was all these exact same Democrats who are now colluding with Zelensky on this very issue, who were attacking and ultimately impeached President Trump about collusion.
Is collusion not a rare earth mineral?
Yeah, exactly.
You see this? And I didn't even really think about that. The same people that were saying that President Trump was colluding with Russia, they're actually here colluding with Zelensky to undermine the United States of America. You can't make this up. It's pretty despicable. It really is. And you know what? It's not even just these Democrats that were talking to him beforehand. You even have some Republicans that were talking to Zelensky. And they're saying, regardless of what President Trump does, we're going to do legislation. We're going to pass bills in the House, in Congress, and we're just going to push it through and give him whatever he wants.
I asked, what do you need? What's your plan for victory? What do you need? Two things in particular: air cover, that would be F-16s, and the attackers. He needs the longer-range artillery to hit Crimea, where the Iranian drones are coming out of. He doesn't have that. Right now, his troops are going in with no air cover. They have to take the mines by hand at nighttime. We wouldn't send our troops into that situation. So we need to give them everything they need. If this administration won't give it to them.
Now, listen to this. You hear what he's saying? If this administration doesn't give Zelensky what he wants, Listen to what he's saying. These warmongers here in the United States of America, they want war too. They all want it. They want this to escalate. And you know what? Because what President, let me finish playing this, and I'm gonna tell you something. The reason why I believe that the Democrats want this, the elitists want this, the globalists, they all want this war to take place, and there's a reason why. And which you probably already know, but I'm gonna share it with you. Let me finish playing this. Listen.
Thing they need, if this administration won't give it to them, then I submitted that we write it in our appropriations bill. We write the weapons that he asked for, that this administration won't give. We write that in our appropriations bill. And I think the Democrats at the table, whether it be Steny Hoyer to Nancy Pelosi to the whip and Chairman Mr. Meeks, we all agree.
You can get off the screen. You see this? So it's not just the Democrats. You got Rhinocrats as well wanting this war to continue. They do not want it to end. They do not want it to stop. It's absolutely despicable. Now, let me say this. Let me put this out there really quick. But before I tell you that, let me tell you about this coffee that everyone should really check it out. This is really awesome. It's the 1775 coffee. Are we able to talk about this really quick? Do you enjoy free speech? That's why Rumble is protecting it, and they're fighting for it. Our show on Rumble is only possible thanks to viewers supporting Rumble's platform and purchasing Rumble's products. Most of you drink coffee every day. That's why you have to try Rumble 1775 coffee. It's actually some of the best coffee, and it's the same price of coffee you already buy now, but it's way better. Rumble 1775 coffee is free from chemicals and yet rich in flavor. This is because their beans are sourced at high altitudes in farms in Bolivia, hand-picked and roasted weekly in their facilities in Miami, and delivered fresh to your doorstep. And as a believer in free speech, buying from Rumble help fight back against the woke corporations like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. Join the coffee revolution and brew rebellion with Rumble 1775 coffee. Go to 1775coffee.com and use code STUDIO and get a free month supply of their cognitive boosting supplement, Limitless, when you buy 2 bags of their coffee. Think about that. It's a crazy deal. And the supplements are worth more than the 2 bags of coffee. So go to 1775coffee.com. That's 1775coffee.com and try their amazing coffee. Okay, let me tell you about the reason why I believe that a lot of this is happening right now, and the reason why the Democrats are doing this. Look, the Democrats should be siding with President Trump because Zelenskyy is an external country, external president. Any country external to the United States of America, that's when all of us should come together, regardless who we are. That's external. Let me give you an example. We got UFOs coming down out of space. You know, just hypothetically speaking, okay? UFOs coming down out of space, and they got laser beams going everywhere. Do we go, we're going to stand with the aliens, or we're going to unite together as humanity, as the United States of America? And let's just say the UFOs are just here in America. Are we going to bicker with one another? Are we going to unify to fight this enemy? Right? But see, the Democrats, they don't see the UFOs as the enemy. They don't see Zelenskyy as the enemy. They don't. They see them as allies. When all he's been doing is draining our bank accounts, draining the money from us. Zelenskyy is not our ally. He's really not. If he was, he wouldn't have came over and disrespected President Trump the way that he did. He wouldn't have done it. So I believe the reason why that they want to make this happen with all this chaos and take us into a possible World War III is because of what President Trump is doing. Think about this, everybody. President Trump, there's never, ever in the history of this country where we've had a president that actually went in and started auditing the federal government. He's not, and even with the auditing that's happening, they're exposing so much fraud, so much corruption. And can you imagine the people that's created this corrupt government that President Trump is now in charge of, and he's fixing it? Can you imagine how they feel about it? Can you imagine not just the billions, but the trillions of dollars that they will no longer have access to? When you start messing with people's money, they start acting funny. And that's how they're acting. Because you notice all the people that are screaming about the fraud getting uncovered and going away are the same people that want the fraud. They want the fraud. They don't want it to go away. They're saying what President Trump is doing is unconstitutional. They don't want President Trump running the country. They want the bureaucrats running the country because they're all funneling money. It's all about money. It's really crazy. So how do you stop President Trump? Y'all remember the first time when President Trump was in office and he was doing such great things? I'm like, oh my goodness, it's wonderful. Look what he's doing. What did they do to stop Trump? Now, without me going into details, all of you were here to experience that. What did they do? And I said, what did they do to stop President Trump in his first administration? Come on. It's a no-brainer, right? You know exactly what they did. So they can't do that again because no one's going to buy that. No one's going to go along with it. No one's going to say, yeah, okay, yeah, we see it happening. Now, they tried to push it, but no one's like, nope, not going to do it because I got to put food on the table, not buying it again. So what do you think they're going to do next? I truly believe because the elites, the globalists, all of them are involved. They're all upset with President Trump. And it's not even just what President Trump is doing here in the United States of America with our government, it's what he's doing across the world, across the planet. Look what he talked about when it came to the Gaza Strip. They all came in uproar. Oh my goodness, what is President Trump thinking? What is he thinking about doing there? How dare he want to actually bring peace in the Middle East? How dare he, right? This is how they're acting. And then President Trump wanting to end the whole conflict between Ukraine and Russia, but the people that don't want it to end, they're the ones saying, oh, President Trump, he's not doing this the right way because they want him to go to war. And I think they're going to try to start some kind of conflict. I give it within the next week or so. The next week or so. Something's probably going to pop off because for the most part, unless Zelenskyy comes to the table and say he's done. Okay, I'm done. Maybe leave some of the nose candy alone or whatever he's doing. I don't know. Speculation here. Something's wrong with dude. But if he comes to the table and say, okay, I'm done. You know who needs to resign? Zelenskyy. He needs to step down. He needs to go away because he's the problem. Listen to President Trump here. And you know what this makes me think about? You remember the first time President Trump was in office? You remember? What did President Trump say? Be peaceful. Remember that day? Y'all remember? The Democrats love that day. It's like their Christmas. President Trump said, be peaceful. We are the law and order party. This time he's saying we're the common sense party. Still the same thing because common sense fall under that. But now he's saying he wants peace. And the Democrats, hear me now, believe me later on, if we go into war, they're going to say this war is because of what President Trump did. They're going to say it was his fault. And when he's saying this right here, and the Democrats, they don't hear it. They can't comprehend what he's saying because he's not saying what they want him to say. Listen to it. Listen.
I refuse to bend the knee to their next endless war in Ukraine. I want peace. They want money and they want conflict, even if it means walking us into the brink of World War III, which frankly it is doing, and it's doing it rapidly.
I mean, really, there it is. That's what they're trying to do. And if you ask me, these people that Zelenskyy is standing next to, bring this back up. These people that Zelenskyy is standing next to, they want the same thing. But they want the United States of America to be involved in this conflict. So many people have said that, you know what? Maybe the United States of America need to get out of NATO. What do you think? What do you think? Y'all let me know in the comments. What you think? Do you think the United States of America should get out of NATO? Because they're all meeting here, right? And they're all siding with Zelenskyy. They're not siding with President Trump at all. Don't get it twisted just because they come back and say that, look, we can't make this agreement without the United States of America. They're not siding with Trump. The reason why they're saying that is because they're hoping that the shadow government and the deep state here in the United States of America would do something dramatic so that they can remove President Trump from the equation. And I think you know what I'm talking about. They tried to remove him from the equation twice that we are aware of. Actually, I think it's 3 times. They tried to remove President Trump from the equation. They failed. But all of these people here, Yasmin, they're in hopes of the deep state and the shadow government removing President Trump. Now, this is, to my understanding, this is Zelenskyy running over to Europe after the Oval Office meeting with President Trump. And of course, all of them rally with this dude. So look at this. And you can see there's Emmanuel Macron. You can see Trudeau. All of these tyrants. All of these tyrants. And they're all there to circle around him. They're all there basically for him. And of course, some people are saying that this was an emergency meeting that was pulled together. This was an emergency meeting pulled together for all of them just because this. And some of them are saying that this meeting was already scheduled. Now, this dude here, Trudeau, Governor Trudeau, he's to the north of us. He's to the north of us. All of these people are elitists and globalists. They want the war to take place. They want it to take place. And Zelenskyy is there, and you know what? And looking at him, he's like, Trudeau's probably saying, look, I would love to be able to have a microphone there, hear what Trudeau is saying to him, but I'm going to speculate, and Trudeau is saying, you know, I know Trump he's bullied me too. He's calling me governor. He's calling me governor.
And tomorrow, if you remember, the tariffs go in place for Canada and Mexico.
Really?
Yeah.
That's tomorrow?
The new tariffs, start tomorrow.
Ooh, it's going to be a big news day tomorrow too then, huh?
It's a big news day every day.
It's a big news day today.
We can't get away from it. We can't get away from it, right?
Let me tell y'all, so my producer and I, we're preparing for the show to come on here, and it's just so much.
So much.
I mean, there's so much. But I saw what President Trump was saying and how they're trying to get to a World War III scenario here. They've been really working on it. And I'm kind of, be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't push it even more when Joe Biden was there. I really am. That they didn't set off some kind of red flag, false flag, however you call it, something to take the United States of America into that conflict. They were really trying, but they didn't do it. I think they were thinking that, Kamala Harris would go ahead and do that because with Kamala Harris, I think we would already been in it right now. I mean, it would have already been in it. And thank God she's not there. Can I say that again? Thank God she's not there. We actually have a strong leader. We really do. And you know what? President Trump, I think he's surrounding himself with a very good cabinet this time. Not like the last time, because there was some in his cabinet that was stabbing his back. Now, there's some questions about some of the people in his current cabinet. We shall see. Today's already Monday. It's already been over 72 hours for Pam Bondi. So I don't know, what is she going to do? A lot of people are starting to put out posts about her saying that she needs to go. My producer was calling it. Multiple other people was calling it. Say, you get one mistake and you're out. So you're already on there, right?
I said I'll give her a second chance.
Yeah,
I did say that.
So I don't know. So has there been anything done to
I
that?
have not seen anything.
Now, to my understanding, she said she was going to fire some people.
Did she?
Yeah, Some people are saying that she was actually with Mark Levin and said whoever, she said you can expect some people to lose their jobs.
And it could be too that she's waiting on, Cash Patel
and Dan Bongino.
To
that
decide
could be the case too, but you
she
can't
should
wait.
be coming out. There should be something.
You know what?
You can't leave us hanging with, oh, they tricked me.
If she's waiting, wait a minute. If she's waiting on Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, that gives these corrupt agents
a chance, an opportunity
to do more damage.
Well, I know
that's
the day
exactly what it's
that
gonna
Trump got inaugurated, even perhaps before they were trying to clean up messes. We already know, and it's been reported, whistleblowers have said, and one of them reported it to Dinesh, to Kash Patel, that, you know, they were shredding. So we know that has happened and is happening.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how to navigate that when so many people are corrupt in the government. It's got to be daunting. But then why didn't you come out and say, if I was Bondi and you didn't know people were in place, I would have said, listen, it's going to come out, but in order for us to get everything out, I need everybody to be in place.
Yeah, I need my team to be in place before we, you know,
right?
She should,
especially if she thought maybe she didn't have everything.
I can't stand it.
I can't really either. I cannot either.
When they say that they're going to release something, they spend an entire hour. I've said this multiple times. Entire hour, 2 hours talking about what they're going to release tomorrow or next week. I don't. You know what? I can't stand that. I really can't.
Hey, well,
that entire hour. Just spill the beans. Just go ahead and say it. Put it out there, and then we'll talk about it. But she couldn't do that.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I do want to give a shout out to peeled.net. We got a couple of contributors over there.
Ohio
Kimmy, and I believe it's Ina. Yeah. Thank you so much for supporting us over there.
Yes, thank you so much.
And if anybody else would like to support us, you can always go to uniteamericafirst.com/donate.
Yep, absolutely. Or you can bless me on Rumble with a Rumble rant, or YouTube with the super chat.
Yeah, we do have super chats turned on.
Facebook, they completely demonetized my page.
Yeah.
And I've done nothing wrong, but you know.
But we still love everybody on Facebook.
Yep, I'm still going Facebook because there's still wonderful people on Facebook. So look, if you can, please go to my website and support me.
And actually, there's quite a few people watching us over there. But
so let's go back to the story, because Zelenskyy, he's begging. He's not trying to come to a deal. We just shared the information with President Trump on Truth Social, where he was saying Zelenskyy does not want peace. He's begging for World War III. He's begging for it. I mean, who does that? And you know what? For him, as long as we're in war, he gets money. They're begging for it. Well, like I was saying a second ago, President Trump surrounding himself with people in his cabinet. And so far, there's been quite a few that have been really good people in his cabinet. We still have to question Pam Bondi. But listen to this one with Marco Rubio. And now Marco Rubio, he's standing up. Right now, I don't have any issues with Marco Rubio personally. You know, there was some things in the past, but he's actually doing a good job here. Listen to what he says on this with Stephanopoulos.
Let me tell you. All right. So do you know what the United Nations resolution was? I'll tell you if you want to hear what it was. It basically said this has been a horrible war. It's time for it to end. The job of the UN is to bring about peace in the world. I thought that's what the UN was created to do, to stop wars and to prevent them. And that's what the resolution did. Was it antagonistic towards the Russians? No. Back to the point. But it also didn't praise the Russians. All it said is this is a bad war. It needs to end. And by the way, at the Security Council, which has not been widely reported, the first resolution on Ukraine that has passed the Security Council in 3 years, passed this week because of the leadership of President Trump. And it's a resolution that says bad war needs to end. Let's bring the two sides together. That's what the resolution is. Again, what is the United Nations for? Isn't it not a forum to promote peace in the world? And shouldn't we all be happy that we have a president who's trying to stop wars and prevent them instead of start them? And I just don't get it. I really don't, other than the fact that it's Donald J. Trump. If this was a Democrat that was doing this, everyone would be saying, well, he's on his way to the Nobel Peace Prize. This is absurd. We are trying to end a war. You cannot end a war unless both sides come to the table, starting with the Russians. And that is the point the president has made. And we have to do whatever we can to try to bring them to the table to see if it's even possible. I'm not promising you it's possible. I'm not telling you it's 90% likely. I'm saying it's 0% likely if we don't get them to a negotiating table. And the sooner everyone grows up around here and figures out that this is a bad war that's heading in a bad direction with death and destruction and all kinds of dangers surrounding it that could spiral into a broader conflict, the sooner people grow up and realize that, I think the more progress we're going to be able to make. But the president's crystal clear. He campaigned on it, and he's going to govern on it. And that is, he is going to be a president that tries to achieve peace. And he has been very clear, this is a war that would have never happened had Donald Trump been in the White House, and it needs to end. And we're going to do everything we can to end it in an enduring and sustainable and fair way.
You see that? I love how he says we need the people here to grow up.
I do.
We need, and basically the Democrats and some of these rhinocrats need to grow up and realize what is happening here.
Yeah, I'm so tired of people criticizing Trump, for shutting down Zelenskyy in the White House. But let me tell you something. Zelenskyy started to attack Putin. When you start doing that in a diplomatic meeting, when you're trying to create peace with Putin, you don't come in the Oval Office and start trashing him. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Right? And Trump can't sit there and go, oh, I hear what you're saying. He had to shut it down. He had to say, you're not being productive right now.
No.
And he had to say, listen, you have no cards in this. And here you are coming in here trashing the person that I'm trying to get you to have peace with. And Zelenskyy kept pushing it. Oh, well, he's coming to your border next. Oh, you're going to feel the influence. When he said influence, he was literally saying that Trump is going to be influenced by Putin. That was another insult. And Trump's like, okay. Then he said, you don't have any cards, right? You could say Trump has influence because Trump is the only one that can shut this down.
100%.
I'm so tired of people supporting Zelenskyy and saying that Trump was the bad person.
Well,
in
you know
this
what?
situation.
I'm glad you said that. Look at this. Split screen it. This is reported to be in Beverly Hills over the weekend. Beverly Hills, California. Supporting freedom in Ukraine equals supporting freedom in the USA. I'm not sure how that comes together. Where's the freedom in the USA? And it's really interesting that they want to put Ukraine first. This is what they're doing. All these liberals here in Russia is a terrorist state. Let me just bring it down. All these liberals in California marching out here in support of Ukraine. Look at this. And some of them, they got a couple American flags over there. But by and large, all of these people are out here in California, United States of America, marching for Ukraine. And what does the support look like? Let me ask y'all a question. What does the support look like for the United States of America and Ukraine? Are we talking about sending military troops? Are we constantly talking about just constantly sending them billions of dollars? What does that look like? And I'm kind of curious, out of all these people out here marching around, how many of these people got a one-way ticket to Ukraine? You don't need to get a ticket on the way back. By all means, stay there. I see all these people all over social media promoting that they stand with Ukraine, and not a single one of them are making trips to Ukraine. I question it. Why are they here? Why are you not in Ukraine? When I'm tired, President Trump needs to cut it off 100%, stop sending any funding to Ukraine, be done with it. Zelensky's not wanting peace, and President Trump says that he wants peace. And let me tell you something that happened to me over the weekend. Actually, it was yesterday. So, every now and then I'm riding around and I have my MAGA hat in my vehicle and I'm riding around and I put my MAGA hat. Most of the time when I'm in the car, I don't have it on. Most of the time I don't have it on. I'll take it off and when I'm riding around in the car. But when I get out and I go into a store or something like that, and sometimes my producer's with me, and I get out and I go into a store and I pop my MAGA hat on. And people, for the most part, if they like it, they'll give me thumbs up or they say I like the hat. But liberals, they don't say anything to me. And I'm talking to my producer one time, and I said, man, not a single liberal say anything about my hat. And she just kind of looked at me like, and you want them to say something? And I'm like, I kind of do. I really do. I want them to say something, but they don't ever say anything to me because I guess, because of how I look and who I am, they don't say anything. But while I was going to a particular hardware store, I'm driving into the parking lot, And this dude comes straight at me, and he's looking, and he's doing this, and he sees that I have my MAGA hat on, because this particular time I left the hat on. And then he comes and he comes right at me, and I had to swerve and get away from him. I mean, he's literally trying to run me off the road.
Yeah, it was very intentful.
I mean, he was trying to run me off the road. I'm like,
what
this is
the
why.
heck?
Yeah, Shannon's with me.
Yeah.
This dude tried to run me off the road. I'm like, you don't even know me, dude. But he saw the hat. That's all that he needed to see. And it was a white guy. I saw him. And, I'm like, I'm thinking, why didn't I have my camera? I'm not riding around with my phone camera in my hand. But the reason why I brought that up is because I've been telling people that you need to be cautious. Take cautious about your surroundings, about how these evil Democrats are. And let me put it this way. When President Trump was running for this last election, I get nasty comments constantly. And this is something that I observed myself. I would get nasty comments constantly. But when Zelenskyy went to the Oval Office and tried to disrespect President Trump, and President Trump shut it down, these people, split screen again, these people here are being violent. And that violence is going to kick up. You know why? Because these people that's flying a foreign flag in the United States of America, because they're supporting a foreign nation, upset with me because the only flag that I want to fly is the American flag. And they're associating anyone who is MAGA with Putin. Do you understand what I'm getting at here? See, I'm only willing to fly the American flag. That's the flag that I want to hold. I don't care to hold another flag. If you're from that country, by all means, go to that country and fly their flag. I only want to fly the American flag. And because of that, these people see me as the enemy. And they are in the United States of America flying a foreign flag for their support for that other country. These people, I truly believe they're going to kick up the violence when they realize that they're not going to get what they want. They're going to act like this right here. Y'all see this? Now, this is a meme. This is just a meme. Okay? But you can see Zelenskyy sitting there in a chair next to President Trump. And they're basically saying, talk to the hand. And look at Zelenskyy. This is exactly how he was acting. Now, I might have to play this a couple of times for you, just so you can get the gist of it. Okay? Yeah, you need to see this. Just watch this.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country.
Oh my goodness, it's so good. It's so good. Now, I have to give some props where props are due. I saw this. Alex Jones shared this. It's so good. And it's exactly what it is. Dude is begging. He's crying, kicking, and screaming because he wants to take the world into World War III. My personal opinion. Hey, let me tell you about Positive. This is something that's really awesome. And I got more information I want to share with y'all because I think Zelenskyy, Ukraine, they're completely done. I really do. If you have a dog, we've all been there. Our poor puppy go through from full energy to sick in a miserable hot second, in an instant, and at the worst time. Then we're calling vets in the middle of the night or even on the weekend, trying to find a clinic that will take us in. It's a terrible way to manage your dog's health, not to mention your stress levels. And we've been there. And your monthly budget for all of this. That's why people are getting excited and they're wanting to look at Pet Emergency Kits by Positive. It contains critical medications that can supply and can help you from going to the veterinarian's office. But you may even save, and it may even save your dog's life. Their kits contains critical medications that activate chronic and septopepic powders and more. It might save your dog's life. Head over to positive.com and use code STUDIO to get 15% off your Positive Pet Emergency Kit. So that's positive.com. Check it out today. I love the way that is. Positive. Positive.com. Okay, so as I mentioned a minute ago, I truly believe that Zelensky, he's going to have to come back on his hands and knees, crawling to President Trump. And President Trump is going to add more to the deal now. So you should have taken the deal the first time, should have kept your mouth shut. You're going to come. And you know what, Shannon? You know what he should make Zelensky do? Is Zelensky comes back to the United States of America on his hands and knees.
And apologize to the American people.
Apologize publicly to the American people.
I like it. Yes,
President
absolutely.
Trump should do it. I want you to go up here and President Trump stand next to him. You know, he will probably have his hand crossed, you know, like I am. President Trump standing there. He said, and you're going to apologize to the American people. You're going to thank the American people. And you're going to apologize to my Vice President, J.D. Vance. You're going to make a public apology, and you're not going to say anything. And if you say anything afterwards, I mean anything, you need to learn to shut your pie hole.
Yeah,
you say anything. If we go into this meeting and we sign this agreement and you go out and you say anything, because that's in the agreement now. You say anything that we disagree with, we get to cancel it. So keep your pie hole shut. Keep your pie hole shut. Now, a bonus would be for him to come on there and say, and to have Zelensky go ahead and say, yes, you know, and your liberal media have been lying to you. They put me up to this. Your liberal media is lying to you. That would be phenomenal. But I think a public apology would be great. And you know what? President Trump could put in a deal and say that after we sign this deal that you immediately work on stepping down. Have elections in your country to step down. You're no longer there. You step down. We'll see what's going to happen. But let me play this. It would be
totally strange to me. I just wonder, wouldn't it be ironic? Because, you know, the first time Trump got impeached was because of Zelensky. Wouldn't it be ironic if Zelensky got impeached?
Or if President Trump forces him to step down. I think that would be awesome. If President Trump is able to force him to step down. If you want to do it, and, you know, put it out there and tell all of Zelensky's team, his cabinet, saying he's had to step down in part of this deal.
I don't think Zelensky could. I think he has too much pride. He likes the money. He likes the prestige. I don't think he'll do it, but we'll see.
We shall see. We shall see. Now, I've seen this young man before, but I can't remember his name. And if I'm not mistaken, this is probably like in the UK or something. But he pretty much saying that the war is done. Unless, just listen to the way he explains this. Or let me put that, Ukraine is done. Listen to this.
It's over. And it's over because Trump doesn't want to carry a loser. That's it. It's not some great morality. He doesn't want to carry a loser. This is a loser. The one that will be saved by the negotiations taking place right now is Ukraine. Mm-hmm. Second is Europe. Your stock market's rising in recent days.
See, that's what makes me think that he's in Europe, because he's talking about their stock market, right? And he's saying that they're done. Zelensky should have kept his mouth shut. President Trump owns Ukraine right now. Really, really he does. And the European nations, they know it too. He owns Ukraine, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. Nothing.
And
let me put this in there. Zelensky, when he shows up to talk to President Trump I'd never see President Trump wearing a ring. I never do. But President Trump should put a ring on just this one time.
Well, I just want to say this.
Let me say this first.
Okay.
I think President Trump should put a ring on this one time. Put it on his middle finger and tell Zelensky to kiss it.
Well, look at this right here on the screen. Talking about what you just said earlier.
Oh, what's that?
It literally says, Trump administration wants a public apology from Zelensky before moving forward with the minerals deal.
Yes. Come on. Come on, man.
Just came across.
Let's go. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Get it, Trump. See, look. Thank you, Trump, for listening. I thank you very much. They said that was quick. That was quick. I was just saying it. I had no idea. Let's go. Publicly apologize to the American people. I love it. Let's go. Okay, I got one more I want to squeeze in here. And of course, this is all of this, because I don't want any conflict. The Democrats, they love conflict. They love chaos. They love animosity. They love drama. They really do. They really do. Well, this is... Let me just play this and I'll talk about it.
Margaret, it is impossible to have an economic deal without a peace deal. The sine qua non for an economic deal is that Ukrainian leadership wants a peace deal.
I thought this was a building block towards getting to
a peace deal. It was supposed to be, but President Zelensky came into the Oval on Friday. There were three things that were going to be done. There was going to be a press conference. There was going to be a private lunch with 16 of us. And as you can see from Dan Scavino's the post on his X account, we were already set up to sign the deal. So it's unclear now. President Zelensky has thrown off the sequencing. And Margaret, let me tell you the most tragic part of this. The President Trump's idea for this economic arrangement was to further intertwine the American people and Ukrainian people and show no daylight, to show the Russian leadership that there was no daylight. And President Zelensky came into the Oval Office and tried to relitigate in front of the world the deal. And the place to have done it would have been in the private lunch.
So now the question
Margaret, it is impossible.
The question is Zelensky going to show up and actually apologize? Is he going to show up? You can take it off the screen. Is he going to show up and apologize for what he's done?
He has no choice.
He has no. I know. We know. Well, he does have a choice.
He does. You're right. I'm sorry.
He has a choice to come, and he has a choice not to do the right thing and say, "Nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to apologize. I'm going to stand my ground. I'm going to stand strong. I'm going to stand strong with the deep state and the shadow government in America that told me not to apologize." Or he's going to come on his hands and knees. And for those of you that are watching on Pilled and YouTube and Rumble, you can see the thumbnail. I created that thumbnail last night. And for those of you that haven't seen the thumbnail, it is with Zelensky on his hands and knees, basically begging. He's basically begging for President Trump to go into World War III, and President Trump is saying no. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Thank you, President Trump. Hey, let me tell you about this smart money strategy. This is something that I've been doing, and I'm telling everybody I can't do it. I almost want to be greedy, but I want to tell the entire world. I want to tell all of you that want to have another source of income coming. This is something that you really want to look at, and it is called the smart money strategy. Warren Buffett just invested over $50 billion in energy. Billionaire Ken Griffin increased his oil investments by 150%. Even Elon Musk said we can't live without oil. But here's what Wall Street isn't telling you. There's a smarter way for you to profit from oil than buying stocks. It's a unique investment that allows you to collect monthly royalty checks from America's richest oil fields. You're not buying shares in a company. You're getting direct ownership in oil producing properties. And you can start this with just $25, people. You heard me right. You heard me correctly. You can learn more about this #1 oil royalty play for 2025 at JohnsonOilBoom.com. That's JohnsonOilBoom.com to discover how you can collect monthly oil royalty checks starting today. Check it out. JohnsonOilBoom.com. All right, everybody, that is it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, please bless me by hitting the thumbs up. Please bless me by hitting the thumbs up. And don't forget, UniteAmericaFirst.com/donate. Support me. Help me keep the camera on. God bless everyone. See you tomorrow.